No, I think this was the last event on WWE Network. So for many of the WWE subscribers, this was their first experience on Peacock.
Yeah.
And it sucked.
Yeah, I said my worry was we're not going to have like a start from beginning, pause, rewind, and we don't. And I don't know. I'm going to buy it. I don't.
Tim.
Fun fact for anybody listening / watching before Tom gets into this.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't need start from beginning, pause and rewind and back up, you can get that without paying for a Peacock subscription. In fact, you might be able to start from beginning without anyway. So you were saying, Tom.
I feel like I need to, before we get into Fastlane and the rest of the WWE, I feel like I need to do an editorial here about my comments from the previous week on how Peacock isn't bad.
Yeah.
There's so much to do. Now, there is. It's still impressive for the dollar amount, the amount of content you can get on this streaming service.
Sure.
Saturday Night Live, all of their past shows like The Office and Parks and Rec, and then you get the WWE Network. Here's where it is not fun. One, the number one thing, like you said, pause, fast forward, rewind. Can't do it, so that sucks. Two, and we'll get into this a little bit later, but if you watch any of their specials, they have built-in ad breaks, even if you get the non-ad subscription. So they fade to black and fade back when you're watching Stone Cold interview Randy Orton, even though you're not wanting that ad. You don't see an ad, but you shouldn't also see a fade to black and then fade back to content. That sucks. And then third, and this is a kick right in the dick. Now, NBC says, hey, some of your content isn't necessarily what we're looking for, so we're going to make some edits to some past events that happened on your television. So this match isn't going to get shown, and ECW is going to get tweaked. And it's like, okay, this sucks. I don't want to watch NBC's version of ECW. That is not in my wheelhouse. I'm not interested in that. And so I think I'm done.
Yeah, there's no reason for me to pay for this service now.
I think I'm done, man.
Yeah.
If you're not going to give me, and what they did on the network, when you would watch an ECW that would have some grotesque violence or whatever it was, they would give you a disclaimer. This is rated, MA for violence, sexual content, yada, 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 right? But what you can't do, in my opinion, is this like whitewashing of like, no, ECW, that was that sci-fi show. And Vince McMahon did a segment where he said the N-word, not on Peacock. It's like he did. It was bad. You can give me a disclaimer, but stop trying to rewrite history, I'm not for that.
Yeah, I'd rather, even if you just censored the word, like, I'd rather you do that to where, like, I know you know what I mean? Like,
I just feel like this is, have you ever seen the movie Thank You for Smoking?
No, I haven't, but I know what it is. Yeah.
So spoiler alert, at the very end, what they try to do to encourage people not to smoke is they go through past movies and TV shows, and anyone who is smoking, they just edit that out, right? So like Dean Martin doesn't have a cigarette in his hand. It's like a piece of gum or something like that, right? Mm-hmm. And I feel like if NBC is going to have their say in what WWE is, we're going to get the thank you for smoking type of content where it's like, oh, but no, they didn't. That table wasn't on fire. No one got put through a table that was on fire. Edge did not spear Mick Foley at WrestleMania through a table that was on fire. It was just a clean 1-2-3 pin.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially since, again, we can access anything elsewhere.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I can see it of how it really happened, so I want to see it how it really happened. And if you're not going to give it to me, I'm going to go get it how I can.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Like, I know, again, I understand the things like when they're like, hey, we're not going to put Pepe Le Pew in this movie because his whole basis of his character was this. And if we're rerunning a new, a WWE Attitude Era, rerun movie, we're not going to put in, puppies, right? This go round, right? We're going to, pull up lame and do something different, but not we're just going to cut this match out, or we're just going to, like just cut this part out, because then you're just removing
history.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, it's interesting. Like, yeah, put up disclaimers, put up a thing at the end, a educational thing about why this may be harmful if you want. You know what I mean? Like, I'm but I don't know.
Or you can set parental controls. If you don't want an 8-year-old to see, again, I love ECW, so I'm always going to use that as my example. But if you don't want an 8-year-old to see the Dudley Boys put Balls Mahoney through a table that's on fire, you can set that parameter. But it's like what Mark Twain said about censorship. You don't stop me from eating a steak because a baby can't chew it. Like, I can fucking eat the steak. Let me eat the goddamn steak.
Yeah,
don't fucking censorship.
Yeah, and different situation. Like, so when this conversation turns to statues and things like that, where it's public tax funding money, like, you go, okay, yeah, we'll remove those things because, that. But, like, these are all people seeking out this content and paying for it. Now, like you're saying, if you think they may not understand what they're paying for and seeking out, then some warnings and some whatever, right? Like, I think there's a line to be drawn somewhere in this idea of something was not how we do it now. Some things need to be eliminated and some kind of need to be amended and some need to be warned about, right? I just feel like this is not something that needs to be eliminated or amended, right? More of a warning, because you have every ample opportunity to understand what you're accessing, seeking out, pause beforehand. Hell, even if you did that, pause. Here comes a potential, an outdated moment, something, Like,
well, and to your point about Pepe Le Pew and Space Jam 2, that's something moving forward, right? We have sensibilities that change,
right?
So I'm not saying that,
right? That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not a new version of the Attitude Era. We're just rehunting the same stuff, right?
So I am in no way saying, hey, let's get Val Venus's dick chopped off here in WrestleMania in 3 weeks. What I am saying though is, if I'm watching that episode of Monday Night Raw, and Val Venus gets his dick chopped off, like, play the fucking segment that they showed. Like, it's
otherwise
okay.
The whole show is done. That was like the main part of that show.
Right. So then, like, what the fuck are we doing? So, anyhow, Peacock sucks.